expired. I call the member for Corangamite.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. On Christmas Day last year, the communities of Wye River and Separation Creek, nestled in steep hills on the Great Ocean Road between Lorne and Apollo Bay in the Corangamite electorate, were devastated by a terrible bushfire. 116 homes were lost and many were damaged. It was a miracle no one was killed. But for the incredible planning of emergency services, including the Wye River CFA, led by Captain Roy Moriarty, tragedy could have so easily occurred. Under the National Disaster Relief and Recovery arrangements, the Commonwealth has contributed almost $4 million to the cost of the clean-up, infrastructure repair works and emergency payments. Recovery has been long and slow. Many businesses have suffered, particularly in Wye and Apollo Bay. The Great Ocean Road has been closed for a total of some 46 days since last Christmas, most recently because of floods and landslides and the ongoing threat of a major landslip at Paddy's Path between Wye and Sep. A large wall is now under construction there in an attempt to keep the road open and safe. As part of the Turnbull government's $25 million contribution to a $50 million Great Ocean Road upgrade, in partnership with the previous state Liberal government, the Separation Creek Bridge is being rebuilt at a cost of $4 million. Proudly, we've committed another $25 million to the Great Ocean Road upgrade, but very regrettably the Andrews Labor government continues to turn its back on this iconic tourist attraction and refuse to match this funding. Mr Speaker, last week I visited Wye River on a magnificent spring day. Many people are preparing to rebuild in this magical part of the world. But there is one group of homeowners, including Geelong photographer Mark Strawn, who are battling yet another injustice. They were unlucky enough to have taken out a total replacement policy for their homes with AAMI Insurance, owned by Suncorp. AAMI's treatment of these policyholders has been nothing short of disgraceful. AAMI's complete replacement cover is meant to take all the worry away. In its promotional material, it states if your home is damaged or destroyed by an insured event, we'll repair or rebuild no matter the cost to us. The problem is AAMI won't rebuild the home itself. The policy does offer this discretion, and it's refusing to provide sufficient money to cover the cost of the rebuild. In at least 6 cases, AAMI is underquoting the cost of the rebuild by between an estimated $100,000 and $250,000. In a number of cases, AAMI will only reveal the lowest quote to rebuild and refuses to release any funds so policyholders can get architects' plans drawn up, which is required for an independent costing. It's using companies which have no local knowledge of the terrain and the complexity of building to the required BAL or bushfire attack level. These companies also carry none of the risk of rebuilding, meaning there are no consequences for them underquoting or not providing sufficient contingency. Homeowners are paying mortgages for homes which don't exist, and nearly 11 months on, they are still in dispute, being forced to the wall by an insurer who is frankly trying to screw them, excuse the language, but that's what they're doing, Mr Speaker, at every turn. Another case involves a woman who's a permanent resident but can't move back into her badly damaged home because AAMI won't provide sufficient funds to repair it. She doesn't want to be named, but she told me, I have carried this premium, the total replacement insurance, for many years without a claim. Depressed, homeless, staying with friends after having worked hard all my life for my own little home near the coast. It is AAMI, not the fires, which have taken all that away. As but one example, AAMI's scope of works for each proposed rebuild contains an estimate for wastewater works. AAMI's quote is $16,500, but the real cost, according to reputable local builders, is between $50,000 and $60,000. AAMI is willing to discuss these claims, and I am meeting with AAMI this week, but frankly, after almost a year, the time for talk is over. Mark and the other policyholders have been extremely unlucky to be with AAMI, and justice, the full cost of the rebuild, along with compensation for lost interest, earnings and costs, must be paid as a matter of urgency. Mr Speaker, justice must be done.